Now let's get some rapid-fire response from our panel on these stories. Is President Obama a comeback kid after his big victory on the tax cuts? Conservatives think so. And Claire McCaskill, senator from Missouri, absolutely destroyed the Republicans on the Senate floor for their hypocrisy on earmarks and for playing games with the omnibus spending bill. With us tonight, Joe Madison, XM Radio satellite talk show host, and Ernest Istook, former Republican congressman and fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Joe, I got to ask you, look at Ernie smiling there tonight. He got that tax cut he was looking for. So we're what about this, Joe? Is this a good deal for the White House? Is this a good deal for the American people? Who are the winners and the losers?
Ernie, I guess Ernie should smile. He's part of that 2%. You got that he's part of that 2% that now has a gold nugget in their Christmas song. Look, I think that the president did the Solomon approach on this. You had those on the left that were very upset about this, those on the far right very upset, and he basically split this baby down the middle. We all get a little bit of something there. It's over now. What concerns me is what this Republican Congress is going to go after come January. And I guarantee you, they're going to go after Social Security. They're going to go after all kinds of entitlements that's been part of this makeup of the United States since the Roosevelt era. This is going to be their game plan, and I hope he uses this comeback to really fight, and I hope those of us, particularly on our side of the media, are prepared to protect our quarterback, so to speak. We've got to fight back. We can't leave him out there by himself.
What about that, Ernest? What do you think?
I think the president made a shrewd calculation that will help him politically because he's going to be seen as compromising. He recognized there was a brief moment of opportunity. I wish he'd waited a couple of weeks because then we would have had the people that have the faith and trust of the American people, those elected in the last election cycle, who I think could have made a deal that would have been better for job growth, especially if it had made the lower taxes permanent rather than temporary, just setting up a future battle. But again, I think, if you're talking about from politically, I think President Obama made a shrewd calculation in moving at the time he did. I thought it was very interesting at the signing ceremony. He didn't show up, though.
Ernie just showed his hand. Ernie just showed you exactly why they wanted to wait a couple of weeks.
Sure, a better deal for the country.
Look, you want to make you really want to help job growth. You've got these multimillionaires and billionaires sitting on top of trillions of dollars. Now is your turn or their turn to start spending money, manufacturing, creating jobs, and then we'll all be happy, won't we?
If we could get rid of the uncertainty, I've been talking about this for months.
You're telling people the only certain
businesses
thing is that
try to make
investment and they have money.
Ed and Joe, businesses try to make investments that make sense for 5 years out or even 10 years out, not just within a 2-year window. So you have not removed all the uncertainty. You certainly have not removed all the big regulations coming down the pipe from the Obama administration.
You think there's still a lot of uncertainty? I mean, this president has set the table for a rebirth in the economy. You think that there's still more he can do?
Yes. If we would have said, look, we're going to take the current tax rates on income taxes, we're going to make them permanent, we should also be doing something about the corporate tax. Japan has realized that they've got to reduce their taxes on corporations to be competitive. That leaves the United States with the highest corporate tax in the world.
You've got corporations that aren't paying
And you've got corporations paying a bundle. You have both kinds of corporations, Joe, and you've got the highest corporate tax rate in the world.
But
why
don't you say to the American people what I just said? We've got corporations that aren't paying a dime and making billions of dollars. Why don't you say to the American people?
You want to close loopholes to stop that? That's fine. But don't say that, therefore, you cannot lower the overall corporate tax rate. You cannot bring in some of the jobs that are going elsewhere in the world instead.
All right, gentlemen, let's go to the fight over earmarks. This is the GOP gloating about them. Here it is.
As the most junior member, for those who are not understanding what just happened, did we just win? It seems that change has come to the Senate tonight with the death of this $1.1 trillion plan.
But this may be a seminal moment in the recent history of the United States Senate, because for the first time since I've been here, we stood up and said, enough, stop.
Now, these are the same people that had all kinds of pork that was stuffed in this thing. Here's Claire McCaskill responding to that on the floor last night as well.
What's offensive to me is that we've gotten into this bad habit of trying to score cheap political points. And for senators to get on this floor and say, we won, and, do this kind of stuff. And the irony is, guess who has earmarks in there? The minority leader, who just voted on a moratorium for earmarks 10 minutes ago. Did he pull his earmarks out? No. Did any of the Republicans that voted for a moratorium on earmarks, did they pull their earmarks out before this bill came to the floor? We could have eliminated a few pages. So, I just don't think the righteous indignation works.
Joe, what do you think?
Bingo. She shot him right between the eyes. She didn't even blink. She got him. She got him. And then the other thing is, let's just speak plain English. If you took all the earmarks and put them together, how much would that reduce the deficit, really? This is a straw man's issue, and they know it. But she hit them right between the eyes, and if you look up the word hypocrite in the dictionary, the minority leader's photograph ought to be there.
Ernie, you got the final word on this one. What do you think?
Well, thanks. Well, first of all, both sides constantly talk in terms of winning and losing. That's no big deal. You want to talk about hypocrisy on spending? It's there. It's absolutely there. But if you don't get a hold of the things that ought to be easy to fix, you're never going to attack the big spending that's tougher to fix. So the earmark moratorium, I think, is
Joe
due to abuse
Madison,
by
Ernest
Congress.
Sistook, always a pleasure. Gentlemen,
Ed.
good to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.